welcome to the ERL Season 7 Round 3, the Chinese Grand Prix for the F2 tier. We're at 10 drivers today, exactly 10, which isn't the biggest turnout in the world, but it's still a pretty decent number. It could be worse, I guess. But anyways, let's dial in and sort of try. We've got both Hasses already out, and we've got a Gamer NL2000 who's out on the track. I think he might be. Oh yeah, he'll be the very first one to set a lap time, and he's on the mediums. Interestingly, the strategy here, it's kind of what you really want to go with. It is a one-stop. Generally, the safer bet is mediums to the hards, but some people can pull off the soft to the hard. It is extremely difficult, especially around China, which is kind of difficult to, how should I say this, to pull off. I think you have to put those softs, stretch those softs to about lap 8, maybe even lap 9. So it is very hard, and those tires do wear very, very quickly. And you're gonna go on getting bored with Gamer right now for a little bit for this first sector and see what he's like. Interesting turn. We're going into turn 1, and the line here is kind of a very never-ending corner of just turning right, but Gamer and I'll guess that perfectly. Goes down to second. It doesn't go into first, get extra rotation, interestingly, so goes up into 7th. And braking hard. This corner needs to brake perfectly if you want to get close to the apex. And he gets a good exit. Let's see who else is on the lap. We've got Izan 27. His engine right now is kind of a glitch here that keeps on happening with the game. But he's also in a medium tyre, and everyone seems to be going in a medium tyre except for Verstappen. Yeah, he's on a hard tyre. Those hard, like so hard to heat up. He's lucky he's not on the street circuit, because if this is a street circuit like Baku, for example, it would be a living hell just to try to warm them up. They're impossible to warm up. So let's go and board with him into turn 1. Let's see how he manages it. Relatively well. It just goes a little bit wide, but all in all, very well done. It goes down to first momentarily, just get extra rotation. Gamer now actually goes into the pits. Interesting. Maybe he got his lap invalidated, but Allied Dean sets a 131.3. That's provisional pole. Ice is 134.4 mediums. Must have made a mistake there somewhere. It's not a very representative lap time on mediums. But 31.3. That's a very respectable time. But I would imagine, if you are starting on the soft tyre, you would have to be sub 1 minute 31s in order to be on pole. So it is a very respected time. So Team Cat actually sets a 32.8 on the medium tyre. So another good respectable time on the mediums. But yeah, as I said, if you are starting on the soft tyre, and are planning to pull off that one stop, maybe even pull off the 2 stop. I'm not sure if the 2 stop would work here. You would have to have a crazy amount of pace. Verstappen set up 32.6 on the hard tyre. Now that's impressive. That is an impressive time for him on the hard tyre. He's beating Team Catu's on the mediums, and also Sawmill and Tyre. I'm not sure if that's the way you say it, But anyways, yeah, so that's a very good time for Verstappen. And Jock sets a 32.4 on the medium. This track is actually very hard to nail perfectly. It's kind of, especially, we say, sector 2 is mainly by the downforce, so you need downforce. Sector 1 is actually also very kind of, sector 1 is actually also a very downforce type of circuit. Sector 3 more of straights, yeah, straights, fast corners. We've got one slow corner there, and it's mainly in the last thing on that very, very long straight, on the longest straight, is where overtaking will be happening. So keep your eyes out for that. But China is actually very, very technical. So you need straight line speed, but you also need the downforce. So I guess on the setup wise, I think drivers here are gonna have to kind of go in between of straight line speed and downforce. I don't know what. I've only been playing the game for nearly not even a week. Actually, yeah, I have been playing it just over. It's only been exactly 1 week. I've been playing the game, so I don't know what the perfect setup is for straight line speed and downforce, especially around China. And then set a 32.4 on the mediums. It's so very close between him and Jock. With 300ths. Yeah, exactly 300ths slower than NN is Jock. But yeah, at the moment, LR Dean is on provisional pole at 31.3. He's a full second faster than anyone. So he's got smooth sailing here at the moment. Oh, got yellows as Gamer and L sets a 31 flat. Now that is a good time on the soft tyre. Now that is a good time. So LRD, he's going to know about this and see what his response is going to be. He does need to find quite a bit of time. He needs, I think, 3/10, sorry. He's on his outlap at the moment, so who's actually on the lap at the moment? I think Robin is. I mean, Robin set a 32 flat on the mediums. That is a very good time. He's 4/10 faster than almost anyone around him on the medium tyre. So is he? He's probably going to go on that soft tyre run. But crucially as well, he goes out on the track very kind of late whilst everyone set the lap times. He's going very, very late. I'm assuming he's just trying to get the track to grip up and just get the best possible grip, whilst the others at the start didn't have the best grip. So that would be the people at LR Dean. So 31.3, I think he can improve that time once the track actually ramps up towards the end. If you are watching this and you don't understand what track evolution is, it's towards the end of the session, the track kind of ramps up and the grip increases quite substantially. You can, if you set your fastest lap at the very, very start of the session and then you went out again at the very, very end, I think you can find around at minimum 4 or 5 tenths. Because the track is kind of, how do I put it? It is cold at the start, but then it was very, very warm at the end. Because everyone is setting lap after lap, and you're just getting constant heat into the track and the tires. So, but it's also how you heat up your tires. I mean, especially on this year's game, I've heard that heating up the tires is very, very easy, very easy, and undercuts strategy. It's going to be a key factor, I think, in this race. Robin in the pits and doing an outlap on the soft tyre. So he's on an outlap gamer now, he's just going for another run. Verstappen, I think he's on the lap, but is he being blocked? No, he might not be. So let's see, he's nearly 4 attempts up on his time already. So that is very good for Verstappen. He's nearly 4 attempts up on his best time that he set at 32.6, which was on the mediums. The hards, I believe. He does need even more time than that. Sorry, I didn't check what the second sector was, but if he's finding a lot of pace on that tyre, let's see what his kind of lap time is going to be. Similar like Tanaja sets a 31.1. He's half a tenth shy of Gamer NL time. Team Catty said at a 31.9 earlier, and he does need to find a bit more pace. But let's see what Verstappen does. He's a very, very fast driver. So is this provisional pole? It's not provisional pole. It is a 31.1. He's P3 on the grid. He might be surprised by that. So wow. So who's on? I think Team Kata, is he on the lap? Presuming he is. His DRS is wide open here. He's hard braking as well. Oh no, I don't think it is. Yeah, he's peeling off into the pits. Robin, yep, he is on a lap. Robin is on the lap, so let's see what he can find. And he's 2 and a bit tenths up on his previous best in sector 1, so we're nearly 3 tenths, 2 3/4 of 3 tenths up on his time. And then the braking is crucial here, and he gets it pretty much perfect there. And he goes wide there, he's very, very wide there. We've got yellows in sector 3, and he's 6 tenths up on his previous best, so he's set for the 31.4 at the moment, but presuming he's going to find even more time on this final sector if he hooks it all up. So let's see what time Robin does. Up to the last corner. Oh no, he peeled off into the pits. It must have invalidated for him. Or he's getting for another set of tyres. Everyone is pretty much on the pits. I think Jock. And he's 2 tenths up. He's 3 tenths down. Sorry, 3 tenths down on his previous time. He goes into the grass a little bit, trying to hook up the best possible line there. Doesn't go wide like Robin did. I think he might be going to the pits after this. I don't think this is going to be his fastest lap, but anyways. Sorry, whilst I was actually on other people's laps, Gamer actually extended his advantage on the soft tyre. You can say 30.7. Now that is a very, very fast time. He's 4 tenths clear of the next person, which is the Racing Point car of Summit Tanaja. Gamer now is peeling off into the pitch. I think he's done for the session. He doesn't have enough time to go out, so I think that's him done. The Racing Point car is going to have to hurry up a little bit because he doesn't have a lot of... He can't back off too much. He does need to push a little bit. He doesn't have a lot of time in hand, so he does need to slightly push just to get to the flag in time. Verstappen on the outlap, he's just about to enter sector 3. Elardini is in sector 3 on the straight. Tincati is just warming up his tyres, he's just about to enter sector 3 as well. Robin he's just come out at the end of sector 1. I think both Racing Point cars have just entered sector 2. Yeah. Matt has just started his lap, and Jock retires. So he can't improve his time. Oh my god, he's going to start P9. And he is a very fast driver, so that's going to be disappointing for him. Let's see if Matt can make do with it. He's a 10th and a half down on his best time. It goes slightly wide, doesn't hook up the apex as much. He's not got a lot of battery left as well, so let's see if he's going to find time in the middle sector. I know he's 2/10s down in the middle sector as well. He's not hooking it up. And Verstappen, he's in sector 2. Oh, there's a little bit of a twitch. And Gamer now, he's done for the session, 30.7. That's provisional pole, and then is on P2 on the front row with a 31 flat. Verstappen, what can he do? He is a main championship contender, and then retires. So it's interesting to see what Verstappen does. Robin, Elardine, who's actually ahead on track, and Elardine that does go P2 on the grid, so that's the front row for him. What about Verstappen? He's entering the second to last corner now. He needs a better result than P5 on the grid. He needs to start quite high up if he wants a good result. Through the final corner he goes. It's a 30.9. He's on the front row, but still Gamer and L is on provisional pole. What about Robin? He's on the main straight. He's activating DRS, so it's kind of interesting what he does now. Team Catty 31.7. He improved just a little bit. I think he improved by 2/10 as well. But all eyes now on Robin, because if he can, so he's through the last corner he goes, and is this provisional pole? It is not provisional pole. It is only for the front row for him. And look at that, Verstappen and Robin setting identical times. But Robin gets the front row, and in the end, the Gamer knows actually. Look at that. So we've got the top 3 are all Dutch. Gamer NL is on pole position. Robin and Verstappen set identical times. Now that is something. Nothing separated them throughout the lap apparently. If you look at sector times, 23, 27.5. Yeah, Verstappen, I think, lost time a little bit in the final sector. Yeah, just slightly in the final sector, but wow, that is one heck of a qualifier. Oh wow, and it's actually raining. But is it raining substantially enough for them to start on the intermediates? Is it raining substantially? No, that's the big question, to be honest, right now. So, Australia, I'm not sure if everyone just qualified on the fast. Oh, they are starting on the intermediates. Ah, so it is not dry enough. So I think, do they fit? I'm not sure how long this is going to be raining for. It doesn't seem like this rain is going to intensify, let's put it that way. It's very, very, very light. It's not like it's extremely wet, so we are on the formation lap, and actually gives me time to have a small drink. So if they are starting on the intermediate, and if the rain continues for quite a while, I obviously don't know, these guys do. It is, and actually if the rain does not continue as it has going wide, I think, was it Renault? I'm not really sure what car it was, it might have been a Haas. But anyway, if the rain stops very, very early, then these guys are obliged to pit, but the tyre they go on is an interesting one. Say if it stopped raining by lap 4 and it got dry by about lap 5 or 6, so they are on the gamble of, there's no way those hards can go for near enough 22 laps, and they'll be going off the cliff by lap, I'd say 18. But if you can manage the wear very early, I think, yeah, it is very possible. If you pit quite early, you can still manage to go to the end, but you would have to look after those tyres quite quite significantly. So we are set. So we are set for the Chinese Grand Prix. We're going to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. And what about the start? I'm assuming Gamer NL gets a good start. And Robin's getting overwhelmed at the start. Look at this. The Haas of El Dean is actually going round the outside. Robin's got the inside line. Gamer NL's clean away. But it goes wide a little bit. So it gives me Robin an opportunity to have a sniff around the outside. But Gamer NL holds his ground. And Robin goes a little bit wide and he's sliding. And he's going down the corner. He's going to P5. And is Matt challenging him as well? And Matt is actually trying to challenge Verstappen as well. And Robin's had a shocker through after, was it turn 2? And look at that! El Dean is actually going around the inside of Gamer NL. So he's made a mistake. I'm assuming these guys have all got dry setup, so the grip is not the best. Gamer NL is going too hot into that corner. Look at the grip. He's got no grip whatsoever. He's going opposite a lock all the bloody time. So Verstappen is the one leading at the moment, and then the Haas of El Dean is actually attacking him. This is a side by side action, and Verstappen, is he gonna have to give up the place? No, he gets amazing traction though, and he gets a switch on him, and he goes onto the racing line. So Verstappen is leading. And the man who's on pole is under P9. I'm not sure. Look at that. He's just, it's like he's got no grip whatsoever. He's just sliding into pretty much into every corner. Look at that, the braking is awful, you just can't stop the car in time. So let's look at the battle up front, and then it's actually very, very close to Dean. Verstappen he still hasn't got. Has he got a good gap? He's got a decent gap. I think the overtake. And look at this, NN is going for a move down the inside of Dean. Oh, and he actually pushes him off the track, and I'm not sure if Dean will be too amused by that. Dean is closing, he's closing. Team Cat is also right there. Robin, yeah, he's catching up as well. I'm not sure what's wrong with Game right now. He's just got absolutely no grip whatsoever. He has just got no grip whatsoever. He's been overtaken by Jock as well. It just seems like he's got absolutely no grip whatsoever. It just seems like he's on. Look at that! It just seems like he's on ice. The car seems like it's undrivable at the moment for him. He's just like, look at that, he's just sliding and sliding. He's got a dry setup on him, I'm assuming, which is why he can't fully just push on. Of course, with a dry setup on a wet track, and look at that, he's just sliding. And I'm just assuming driving with a dry setup and on a wet track is near impossible, and especially on the physics of this game, it's just near impossible. So he needs that dry period to come as soon as possible, if it does come. Verstappen is setting the pace very much. He's setting this time screen quite alive. And then it's 2.2 seconds, so his race pace tends to be much better than his quali pace, so don't be surprised if he does close down Verstappen. I certainly won't be, because he is a phenomenal driver. He's got a lot of talent. His race pace tends to be much better than his quali pace. He goes a little bit wide there, so he does need to be careful, because Dean is actually right there, and Team Cat is right on the tail of Dean. Oh, and Dean actually has a bit of a twitch there, as I saw on the rear. So these guys have all got dry setups, which doesn't really help. Oh, look at this! This is a 4-car scrap for P2, and then final night as you drop back from Verstappen to 4 seconds. Verstappen's actually got very low battery level, so he does need to look after that. He's comfortably ahead, he's got nearly a 5-second gap. And Aladine's actually coming. Oh, look at this side-by-side action between Team Catty and Robin. And then goes wide, a little bit wide there. Team Catty holds position, but Robin gets good traction. So is he going to be, and Team Catty needs to completely cover the inside. He brakes late and Robin brakes very early. He doesn't want to go side by side because Team Catty can actually squeeze him out on the exit of the corner, because it's just the nature of the corner is you're allowed to squeeze the guy who's on the outside as much as you want. Oh, and Robin actually taps the back of Team Catty. And then it's still the gap has actually dramatically grown to 5 seconds. So let's look at Gamer now. He's just struggling. Well, look at that. He just has no grip. And he, to be honest, he's not the only. The man on pole at the moment, I think, is over 10 seconds behind the leader. So, Izan 27, he's probably struggling as well. Or he just made a mistake. The Gamer now once again wide for the penultimate corner. I'm not joking, at this rate it just seems like he's gonna crash or something like that. He just has no grip. I mean, one mistake on traction and he could be going in the wall wide again. Oh, what happened there? Oh, Robin did get past. So that was why Team Catty went so wide into the corner. So Robin is now the race. Is now ahead, and he's right on the back of LR Dean. The gap between NN and Verstappen has actually remained pretty stable at 4.8 seconds. And then just cannot cut off at a matter of time, and look at that, he's just sliding. The idea is when you got dry setup on a wet track, you're trying to shift up very early, so you're sort of short shifting up the gears quite much earlier than you would normally in dry conditions. So it is a challenge. Which is why Verstappen, I think, is the one of the most clever doing this. He's not going down to gears that are standard for dry conditions. He actually, what he does is look at that. He goes full through there, and he just shifts to third, and just at the corner itself, just to get more rotation to second. And when he's almost coming to a stop, he shifts to first. But other than that, look how quick, look how early he's shifting. He's not revving out the engine, he's not hurting the engine nor the gearbox by doing that. So it's very clever what Verstappen is actually doing. Yeah, so this type of driving is really beneficial, because he's just creating the gap he needs. Yeah, look at it, just how early he's shifting up to gears is just mesmerizing to watch, and he's built another second to NN. So, and let's actually compare, and let's go on board with NN for a little bit to see what kind of how early he shifts up to gears. And look at he's actually revving out the engine. As Robin says, the fastest lap of the race. So could he be actually, if he gets ahead of NN, could he actually reel in Verstappen? Because it does seem he's got the pace. Robin is dropping back just a little bit right now. Also, if the dry period actually came for them right now, I think they could easily put it onto the hard. So the strategy is no longer. But eventually they will have to pit for a new set of inters, and you can't take these inters to the end. We can't take these tires to the end. Probably look at that. He's actually dropped back just a little bit. I think he just went wide into some of the corners, so he just lost a little bit of time to him. But oh, and look at, and then he makes a mistake. He goes wide. And slipstream, especially around this track, is very, very powerful, as we've learned in this game. And then goes wide again, so Robin might have a bit of a snip. No, and then actually covers that off. But on the exit, look how close, look how great traction Robin gets. And where does Robin go? Oh, he goes around the outside, but actually, and then puts his car in the right place, but now he's side by side with him, and I'm not sure Robin will want to hang around the outside there, so he just backs off and bides his time again. But you can see visually Robin is actually fast at this moment, so I think it's only a matter of time before he gets past, and then I think and the gap is actually growing to Verstappen to 6.7 seconds at the moment, 6.8 now. So I think Robin is, the one that can really chase Verstappen down, but really close that gap. So will Robin make a pass on the straight? He's only got pure slipstream, but that is not enough. And look, Energy gets a really good exit onto this long straight, but again goes really deep into this corner, and then just allows and just is inviting Robin to make a move. I don't know whether he's doing this on purpose or not, but oh, and Robin has a bit of a slide. I don't know whether Anen is doing this on purpose, but he's just inviting Robin to make a move. If Robin was a bit closer there, he would have definitely got past, so he's lucky Robin was a bit further back. We are on lap 10, and Gamer nowadays is not getting any better, and he's actually pitting. I'm not sure what he did. Why is he pitting? Oh, he's gone into service. 5 seconds. Stop go. But to be honest, anyone who finishes this Grand Prix is going to get points. So it's much rather better for you to finish rather than for you to not finish. Because everyone's going to get points either way here. There's no one that's not going to walk out with points on the board. So it is very much worthwhile finishing and just going with it. Even if you haven't got the pace like Gamer now at the moment. Even if you just haven't got the pace. Consistency with the point matters. So if it is the case that he just hasn't got the pace, and there's a yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, and Robin was making a move, and then why was there a yellow flag? Oh, hang on. Has he got a puncture? Oh, yeah, he has. Oh, I was wondering why he's turning the steering wheel that much. But Elardine has actually got a puncture. I don't know why he's got a puncture for. How did he get the puncture? How bizarre. Were the tyres actually going off? Oh, that is interesting. Did the puncture happen due to tyre wear, or was it something else? Robin's still trying to overtake NN, and look at this, now he's got a run on NN because NN actually made a mistake, as you saw there, and Robin now, yeah, and NN actually doesn't fight him, he just wants to let him through. You can actually see Robin's visually faster. And then goes into the pits. Oh my god, he nearly hit the wall there. Jeez, he nearly hit the wall. He is lucky not to hit it. There's a little bit of a delay there, but anyways. Jock is into the pits as well now. Oh, Robin's gone for a spin. And that, his hopes of catching Verstappen drastically have reduced now. Oh, and there's a VSC. Oh, so that kind of saves Robin's day, to be honest. Now, if the VSC stays out for long enough, does Verstappen pit? I'd imagine he pits, and if the VSC stays out long enough, does Robin pit? And so does Tinkate. Yeah, Verstappen pits. and he doesn't want to be held, so and he's not going to be held on this occasion. Tinkati goes through. He's going to go for another lap. And he goes exceptionally wide, but tucks into that corner nicely. He's got the Racing Point car just 2.5 seconds behind him, so he's got to be wary as well. Verstappen exits in P3, so he is, I think, was it 7 seconds behind the leader, so. And Enon is 10 seconds behind Verstappen, and Robin, just because of that spin, is just really cost him now. His chances of winning the race now just drastically went down just because of that spin. Jock up in P6 where he started, which was in P9. So actually, let's go through the grid order at the moment. Sorry, the running order that we've got. So we've got Tinkati leading, and the Racing Point of Somila Tanaja in P2. Verstappen on the fresher tyres in P3, and then final 9 in P4, Robin P5, Jock P6, and Matt P7, Elodine P8, Gamer now, the man on pole, in P9, and Eisen in P10. Tinkati is actually playing a very interesting strategy. His tyres are probably going through the cliff at the moment. However, if he stretches them, if he pits this lap, which I'm pretty sure he will, he can take them to the end. He can pit and take those tyres to the end, whereas the others are gonna have to. Well, it's unsure if the others will pit. But Verstappen is actually rapidly closing on Tinkati. It's just Tinkati does need to increase that speed just a little bit, because Verstappen is ramping up the pace. Because I don't think I think Verstappen does realise that Tinkati, if he's pitting this lap, he can take those tyres way to the end. I think Verstappen can take his tyres to the end comfortably as well, so. So the gap is down to 2.9. .7, and finally Tinkati pits for a new set of intermediate tyres. But now he's going to be lightningly fast on these tyres. So he exits fourth, just nearly 8 seconds behind Robin. So, but he is on the freshest tyres of anyone on the field. So he does need to now put the hammer down and use these fresh tyres as much as he can. Well, to be honest, saying that, he can't overdrive, because he's just gonna. If he overdrives, then they're just going to destroy the tyres, and then it's just never going to make it to the end. So he can't. He needs to push at certain times, but not push to that much to where it's impossible. At the end, it's going to be impossible for him to drive. and he also needs to let them to heat up as well, so it's probably going to take him a lap to heat them up to the temperature they need to be, as Robin is closing on NN once again. The gap to Verstappen and NN is 10 seconds. It's almost a full straight on them. It's just a very nice drive from Verstappen. He just never gets into trouble. He just great driving all round and just very calm, collected. Doesn't panic, make rash kind of moves. Doesn't overdrive as well. It's just the key with his driving. He just doesn't overdrive. Although saying that, Robin is probably going to be hurting those tyres quite a lot by setting fastest lap after fastest lap, but he is trying to close down NN 599, which he does need to, since he's that close. So I'm not at all surprised. He is. Occasionally what happens to Robin is he's an exceptional racing driver, he is, but in some cases he's just irrelevant and unnecessary things happen to him. And he's had a bit of a twitch on the exit, but yeah, as I said, it just happens to him. The luck is not on his side, but no one can deny the type of talent he is and how fast he really is, especially in qualifying and the race as well. But I think in qualifying, over one lap, he is a very, very hard man to beat. In the race, he is manageable to beat, as Verstappen responds with the fastest lap of the race of 47.0. He is beatable in the race, but his race pace is just as strong as his quali pace, so it is kind of a balancing out between him of what happens to him. He's, I think, I'm not sure if he won in Bahrain. I'm not sure what I think in Australia, I think Verstappen was the winner in Australia, of course, for the viewers. I was not there for Australia and Bahrain. Australia, I was on holiday, and Bahrain last week I was unable to turn up. But I am here this week. So, but I think next week someone will be joining me in the commentary box to help me out. Hopefully the next week there will be a bigger turnout as well. Since 10 people, everyone's just going to get points. But if we look further down the order now, ICE is only just 22 seconds behind Gamer and L. However, even if he just stays in the race, he gets a point. So he gets an extra championship point on everyone that just didn't turn up here. So if I was him, I would have probably quit by now. Quit the race by now, but I respect the fact that he's in the race. He's just trying to drive his own race and just not be bothered with whoever's in front of him. So Dean actually gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cone. It's interesting that. And he's actually right on the back of Matt. Well, when I say that, he's not that. as Jock is in P6. He's actually got the racing point car just ahead of him, and he's got Tinkati there as well. So Tinkati at the moment has got the freshest tyres, but he's not using them to the full effect. But is he just looking after them at the moment? Does he just want to salvage P4 and just literally get to the end? The gap between NM and Verstappen is just 10.5 seconds pretty much most of the time. Verstappen is just 4 tenths behind him, by the way, on NN. Sorry, I was taking a break, my mouth was getting dry. Oh, then again, Robin has a slide, and you can just see he just had a lot of issues with traction. And the rain is not looking like it's gonna stop anytime soon. I think if Robin had DRS, he would just easily be able to blast past. And again, it just has a bit of a twitch. I was just half a slide. We are actually on lap 19, so we're coming up to like the conclusion of the race, because we're going into almost lap 20 as Verstappen crosses the line. Actually, where is... I'm not sure if Verstappen will lap Ices in 27. I think it'll be highly unlikely that he will. His batteries are quite low as well. Verstappen just looking, it's just smooth driving all around from him. He's got a comfortable gap to an end with 10.7 seconds. But Robin is still very close behind, and NN is always under pressure now. He has to be perfect pretty much, because if he makes a mistake, I reckon Robin will pounce and just get past. Team Catty, I think he's just looking after the tyres at the moment, because normally we would be pushing. So Natasha is in P5 at the moment. He's just 2 seconds, 2.7 seconds behind Tinkati, and Jock is 2 seconds behind the Racing Point car. Matt is nearly 20 seconds behind Jock. And Lardine is actually very close to him. Gamer, and I'm really... Oh, and look at that! Why is Verstappen in the pit? Oh, and actually, also they couldn't pull off their infamous one stop, so they had to... I think Tinkati might be in the most prime position he's ever been in the race. Actually, you're thinking about that. Verstappen just came out on fresh tyres. To be honest, Tinkati's got fairly fresh tyres as well. He's only 6 laps old. Is he going to shoot down the inside? Yes, he is. Verstappen at his dive. It's Verstappen. it's actually kind of like Max Verstappen. He sees a gap, we'll just go for it on late braking. And this is going to be a fairly easy move on Team Cat. It just doesn't fight at all. Verstappen has got fresh tyres, so much pace on them as well. And Verstappen is free to go, and he can pretty much now push towards the end of the race now. As NN pits, and it'll be interesting where there's Robin. Is Robin gonna undercut him? NN is going down the pit lane now. He's coming towards the exit. And where is Robin? Robin's right there. NN's right there. Oh, but Robin goes wide. Oh, they're going side by side, and Robin did catch up in that. Oh, and look at that, Robin. Oh, he does get ahead. And it's brilliant racing, and Robin very clever, just gets ahead. But NN has got fresher tyres at the moment. He will try to make up whatever time he can now. Let's see, is this it was the fastest lap of 45 knots. I think the track is actually improving. I think it might be getting drier, or it's just the fact they got fresher tyres and lighter fuel. Oh, there's a yellow flag. And sectors 1 and 2. And sector 3. Oh, and there's a puncture for Matt. Oh, and there is a puncture for Matt. Oh, don't tell me LRD's actually got a puncture as well. Oh, he's got another puncture on the rear left this time. So the tyre gamble these guys are just doing is just ridiculous. They're getting punctures. LRD is going to have 2 punctures this race. Oh, and LRD actually retires now. I reckon he's now fed up with these punctures happening. Robin's dropped out from NN all of a sudden, and he actually dropped the position to him, and he's now 2.5 seconds behind. So what's happened there to him? There's another yellow in sectors 1 and 2. I'm not really sure what that's for. I really don't know what the yellow flags were for. I reckon Team Catty will end up on this podium. Tinkati will get an unlikely podium unless and then just I reckon Gamer now might have had a puncture. I reckon that was the cause of the yellow flags. And Enna is actually closing in on Jock, so in the end, by about lap 27, lap 28 is where you're going to see quite a level of action. Oh, and there's a bit of a slide for NN, a bit of a twitch, so you can see traction is an issue. It's quite a big issue for some of these drivers. Robin's had quite a few half spins. Gamer now I think is just sliding around into every single corner pretty much. The one person that I'm really impressed with is Verstappen, because there was not a single sign of a spin happening whilst I'm on board with him. Not a single sign of that happening. So it is just impressive driving he's doing. There's just nobody really that could challenge him today at all. I think raw pace, he's got very strong race pace. Actually very strong race pace. But in the rain I think he just knows this tactic of to just short shift him very, very early, so you're just decreasing the chances of wheel spin, and you're essentially able to get on the power much faster and achieve greater speed. So when he cuts the corner a little bit there, might be a warning, but just brilliant driving from Verstappen, just brilliant. 7 seconds clear of his nearest competitor, Tinkati. And to be honest, Tinkati's tyres will be on the limit as well. He's got to make them last for another 3 laps. He's only got 3 laps to go, but from the punctures that have been happening, his tyres are set to go in 2 laps. Unless, of course, he's looked after them. Oh, and he goes wide there. He goes wide there and onto the curb. So the fight for the podium is just not over yet. And you got NN very close behind on Jock. And Jock will defend that position as hard as he can. This is P4, this is 12 points he's fighting for. So he's not going to give it up, even if NN is fast on fresher tyres. And by the way, Jock, his tyres are probably in serious trouble at the moment. Jock's tyres are probably in serious trouble at the moment. And does Jock fight NN? No, he just stays around on the outside. He brakes early. Allows NN through actually very, very easily. And Robin is actually very close to him. Just 2 more laps to go now. So now NN has got 2 laps to chase down the Racing Point car and to get on the podium. He wants this podium, So he's going to have to really work for it. He's 1.6 seconds now behind. But I reckon Team Kate, he will be safe and will be on that podium, whatever happens. Oh, and Robin actually did get past Jock, so... So we are now going on to the final lap of the race. Verstappen is your race leader, Team Kate in P2. So Somila Natanaja is in P3, but NN is right there. This is for the final podium place. And he actually doesn't fight him. Now that is a surprise. Why would you not fight? I'm surprised he didn't fight for that. He just let him through. I'm surprised he didn't fight for that. Onto the final lap as well. Why would you not fight that? This is for a podium as well. I'm really not... I am really a little bit baffled by Jock's tyres. I don't know how they're holding for that long. He must be very lenient on the throttle. Must be very, very lenient on that throttle. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's made the one-stop work, but to some extent, and your race winner is Verstappen by a merry mile. He wins the race by 8 seconds. Team Kate, brilliant race from him to pull off the one stop and be on the podium. Oh, NN is not going to be on the podium. Also, that's why he let him through, because he knew NN had penalties. Oh, and look at that, he misses the podium by nearly a tenth of a second. Robin finishes P5. You'll be probably disappointed with that. Jock, he's been on those tyres for 17 whole laps. That is impressive to take him for that long. Gamer now, well, he's going to be in rather disgruntled P7. And it's going to be a disheartening race for him. He's just had zero pace to the leaders. It's just been absolutely nowhere. There's literally from the start is where it unfolded. As soon as Verstappen got fast, it's just where it unfolded for him. He still weighs, but he should be happy just to get to the finish line. Matt will be the last one to cross the line. It's an impressive race for Matt. He's going to get 4 points out of this, so... And that is the race for you. That has been the Chinese Grand Prix. That has been one exciting race in my opinion. So the race result: Verstappen wins the Chinese Grand Prix. His second win. He's a very, very strong championship contender. Team Kazit, brilliant podium in P2, starting P7. Just the strategy worked for him, and yeah, the one stop worked in the end. Somi Latinaja, P3 after starting P6. Again, brilliant race as well for him. And then final line P4 with a penalty. He'll be disappointed over that, I think. Robin, who he's going to be mightily disappointed after starting P2 and finishing P5, not where he wanted to finish. Jock P6, 3 places up from where he started. Gamer NL, yeah, he's going to be just unhappy with what happened with him as well. Then I think we had Matt in P8 and Ice is in 27 in P9 and LR Dean in P10. So everyone just got points in the end. So guys, that's been the Chinese Grand Prix. I strongly recommend you join us for the next week's race, which I think is in Baku. So expect a lot of front wings to be flying off. But yeah, that's been one exciting race to commentate. But for now, I think it's on to next week, and I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock UK time on Friday. Yep, see you later, guys.